Oh, thank you for being here. We are Biocomparison. If you want to hear us again, Biocomparison. And we're going to be talking about biohacking and ways that you can improve your health. Improve your health, which is going to be a really big and important part of hopefully your lifestyle. So please like the video, leave a comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. And we're going to go ahead and dive in and get started right now. So right here, we are talking about biohacking for beginners. And I'm going to go ahead and I know I'm a little bit in the way there. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these as we talk a little bit about biohacking for beginners. So let's go ahead and look into some of the best ways to increase your health and fitness. Biohacking may be the right option for you. It's a lifestyle approach that's both safe and easy to apply. You don't really need a background to really get started. This is something you can jump into right away, which is biohacking for beginners. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. And we are going to look at this lovely image. And I know that I'm right in the center, which is great, and the slide's kind of getting me. So hang tight. We're going to go ahead and read this together, and I'll make a full screen so you can take a look at the lovely picture. Biohacking is an alternative and sometimes reactive approach to self-improvement. It involves modifying the body in a variety of ways to enhance your health, performance, and some popular methods include implants and body modification, which involve piercings, tattoos, and scarification. This is all part of biohacking and expression. The principles of biohacking are diverse. Why most of these are fundamentals. You're going to have things such as nootropics involved, different types of drugs, enhanced cognitive abilities, supplementations, a lot of them that will require a prescription. Another method is neurofeedback, which involves EEG monitoring to alter brain activity. This technique can increase the brain's creativity. And I want to talk a little bit about this because this is something that's a little bit near and dear to what I do in my heart with EEG. I do a lot of brain monitoring and meditation to try to figure out where my brain waves are, whether they're in a delta, beta, alpha, or theta state. And that is helpful for me to improve my sleep, to keep an eye on my mood and my balance, also to keep an eye on my overall health. So I can totally understand where that's coming from and relate to it and really appreciate that. So let's go ahead and zoom back in. We're going to move on to the next slide. And we want to talk about biohacking being a lifestyle. This is something that is a lifestyle-based method. Biohacking is a lifestyle-based approach to health and wellness. It can improve your nutrition, your sleep, help you avoid certain diseases. It really does a great job in helping you to be aware of what's going on, to avoid things such as injuries. It's really good for mental health balance and problems. And this is also a good time for me to recommend that if you're not feeling great about something, you should definitely seek help of a medical professional.
Do it.
There's no shame in it. Everyone needs sharpening. That's kind of the way I look at it. We all can use sharpening in one way or another, even if we're at 90%. We could always use a little bit of extra help to get to that 100%. So if you catch yourself slipping in any manner, there's no harm in sharpening. So seek out the advice of a medical professional. I often suggest one that's local in your area where you can meet face to face. If that's not available, then try to reach out to those who would have information in your community about those that you can look to online that could be a little bit more proactive and help you. So keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Your physician can help guide you and help you figure out what methods are great and what methods aren't. There are several methods of biohacking, including diet and exercise. Some people, for altruistic purposes, and experiment on organisms in their garage. Others take classes. There's a lot of different ways to get involved in biohacking. Biohacking methods definitely include some risk. Some may end up with a faulty diet or low quality of sleep. So these are things you want to keep in mind when you're starting your biohacking journey.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a great journey for you overall, but ideally you do want to keep an eye on some of these risks. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. Let's go ahead and full screen it for us. So look at this lovely picture here. Let's go ahead and float me back on screen. First, you'll see me in the background, and I'm going to float back on screen. Biohacking is safe. This is a safe thing for you to do. it's a great idea for you if you are going to be doing a movement that involves genetics to improve health and wellness. Some practitioners use nootropics to enhance these brain function and neurofeedback. Um, Other methods can improve creativity, increase energy level. Biohacking is highly complicated and specialized topic, so it's important to learn all the difficult details. And ideally, what I recommend is getting involved in a community that can really help you out with this, because it can be sometimes overwhelming to do it on your own.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to have support and a team behind you that can really help you out with some of this information. Let's talk a little bit about the dosage. You always want to check the dosage and make sure that you are wary of overdose, especially if you're involving dietary supplements and sleep manipulation. The best way to make sure you're not overdoing it is to read the label of supplementations and look for the label to make sure things are 100% safe. If you have questions about this, this is where you're, again, going to seek out the advice of your medical professional.
Do it. Do it.
And exercise a certain level of precaution so that you're not doing harmful activity with yourself. All right, let's go. Oh, sorry, wrong slide. Let's go ahead and continue on. Exercise. This is another important biohack for beginners. The right exercise can make a big difference in your health. When you exercise, you get blood flowing and your body responds in a more favorable fashion. Similarly, not all exercises can have the opposing effect. So exercise is an excellent way to burn fat and increase energy levels, but you need to do the right kind of exercise and the right kind for you. Excess or too little exercise can be harmful and even cost you a lot of money in the process. So you want to keep an eye on what you're doing with your exercise. Continuing on, biohacking for beginners is not a difficult process. It will have challenges and obstacles to overcome, though. So as long as you understand the basics, you can start with simple changes, build up your skills as you go along the way. The principles of biohacking are simple. You should be able to apply them easily without feeling like you're cheating. All right, very, very good information on the safety of biohacking. All right, we're going to move on, and we're going to put this beautiful picture back on. We're going to move on to the next slide. So biohacking in itself is a easy to do process, and oh, very nice. I'm actually on the screen as we can read this slide. Nice. Biohacking for beginners is a relatively simple process that doesn't require a lot of equipment. It's a simple way to improve your health and well-being without making drastic changes. The process involves making some changes to your life, such as eating a healthier diet or taking supplementations and increasing your daily activity. The key is to experiment and track your results. One simple biohack to increase your exposure to sunlight. And I recommend this a lot of times when I'm with patients or when I'm with peers or even with other researchers. I often suggest sunlight as a variety of ways to keep us healthy and increase the cellular function of our cognitive and neurological functionality. There's a lot of studies going on that really expose how helpful sunlight is. And of course, in excess, it can lead to things like skin cancer and whatnot. So we have to be wary and careful and do the right precautions, whether that's sunscreen or limit your exposure to sunlight. But sunlight itself can be very helpful. There's different types of light we absorb from the sun, such as infrared, far infrared, and others. So let's get back to the slide. This is a chemical and natural process of the body's design. Its key is to keep you a more rested, elevated experience. By increasing your exposure to sunlight, you can improve your mood and improve your sleep. While biohacking has gained currency in the last decade, it's often misunderstood. Despite the ambiguity, biohacking is a way to manipulate your body's functions. The term biohacking has, for example, become something anonymous with adding cream to coffee. Since the beginning of time, this is something that we've kind of added on icing to the cake. So biohacking is hopefully the icing to the cake of your recipe for your health. You should hopefully have a foundation already established. If not, check in with some local experts who are helpful in biohacking so you can get that foundation set up for you. A biohacker's goal is to improve their health. Rather than relying on experts for guidance, biohackers want to control their health. They recognize that the information about the human body is readily available, but it's up to them to interpret it in a way that helps them live a long, healthy life. So this goes back to what we were just saying.
Oh, yeah.
About seeking out the help of a professional. So if you're kind of getting involved in biohacking as a beginner, hopefully you do have a foundation. And that's where I'm going to recommend that you really do lean into expert advice. As you venture more into biohacking and experiment with your body and what works for you, this is something where now you can take a little bit of your own anecdotal experience and hopefully have a little bit more say-so and leeway with your mind over what you want to do and why. So ideally, you do want to have that expert experience. That's important. But on top of it, you do want to make sure that you're doing enough to make sure you're putting in the work so you understand what's going on with your body and you can actually add on elements to the strategy yourself without needing to rely solely on experts or having to pay expensive prices for training. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. And I chose this lovely picture here. Let's see if we can float and keep me on screen. Pretty close. You know, I'm going to read with this on. It is cutting off my head just a little bit. Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
Do it. Do it.
So biohacking, it is fun. Biohacking for beginners is a great way to learn about the human body, and it's a fascinating topic to explore. If you're new to biohacking, you might be wondering what's the best way to start. The first step is to take a baseline requirements to determine your body's baseline. This can be done through blood test. Since you have a baseline, you can then start exploring many techniques used in biohacking. There are many books and conferences on the topic, as well as tools to help you get started. Depending on what you're trying to achieve, you may want to start with nootropics. These substances are quite helpful to metabolize and give you dramatic results quickly. Caffeine, for example, a popular nootropic, is very helpful, while a stimulant that boosts energy levels is also something that could be helpful. If you don't normally drink caffeine, try starting off with just 8 ounces of black coffee each morning and try writing down the amount you notice. Then you can gradually increase the amount until you're seeing results that match your expectations. Biohacking for beginners is safe. Many of the techniques are very easy and affordable. For example, wearing a Fitbit can be very, very helpful for you to keep active and keep a cleaner diet. More advanced biohacks are, of course, riskier and can cause other problems. So let's go ahead and continue talking about safety and why safety is a big important aspect of it, and jump further into the element of having fun with it. If you aren't being safe, you're taking ideally more risks than what we would consider what a biohack is doing. Biohack is supposed to helpfully improve your body. If you're taking adventurous risks, then you might be asking for trouble. So safety is going to be something that you're going to want to really keep in mind as you work on your biohacking activity. Now, fun is also another portion that is very crucial to your adventures in biohacking so that you can not burn out. If you're not having fun, the chances of burning out are going to be really high. And we know from documented research that it is easy to burn out whenever we are dealing with health and the body, exercise, and discipline. So ideally, we want to make sure to the best of our abilities that we are having a great time, that we are really focusing in on the idea of fun while we are doing these techniques, because they can get lackadaisical. Let's go ahead and move on to our final slide. So this is our final slide, and on this one, hopefully I'm not too bad. It's not cutting me off too much. I will read with this one on. We're talking about it's easy to learn. Biohacking is a way to challenge your body and mind to achieve a great extra level of health that could really get you into peak capabilities and a thriving mindset. It includes supplementation, technology, things like red light therapy to improve your health. Beginners should talk to professionals. Of course, we talked about that before. As you continue on your journey, you can kind of venture off of that, but ideally you want to have the fundamentals in place. Then you can educate themselves and really move forward. Biohacking is easy to do, and it can help you in a number of ways. We're going to continue on, but I want to make sure that I'm on the screen. So I'm going to first go back to this slide. And let's go ahead and continue. First, biohackers need to believe in experience-based learning. This means that they like to touch things and chug coffee. For example, accelerated learning. Expert Jim Kwok says his audience has to remember fast learning. He then shares a few techniques on how easy it is for beginners to speed up their learning. The good news is biohacking is relatively safe for beginners. Some entry-level biohacks are simple, such as wearing a Fitbit to increase your physical activity and watching what you eat. However, you got to be careful as we venture into some of the more advanced biohacks because they get a little bit more riskier and could lead to dangerous health risk. Several biohack experts offer tips. This channel is going to be very influential, hopefully, on education and information about biohacking, where to start, what to do. So watch out for the channel titles so you can really get a glimpse on where you want to go. We should have quality information for you. And finally, I'm going to ask you to
Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe.
And hopefully you had a great time being here. Once again, we are going to be giving you information on how you could focus on biohacks. Thank you for being here and have a great time.